every day goes by so fast, and every moment counts, baby, I don't wanna miss a thing. We can sleep under the stars, we can sleep under the stars, or hang out in hotel bars, driving somewhere in your car. We can sleep under the stars, we can sleep under the stars, under the stars. Take my hand, and we don't need to do the things we don't want to do. I'm running out of.
Hello, guys. That was the intro music to get everybody all into the chat. Well, hello, chat. Say hello to David K, Tyler Gates, Sandy, Chris. As usual, good to have you on the stream. And yeah, let's get into some details. How are you guys doing, man? How is everything with the collecting community? All right. Napoleon just joined. Hello to you. Yeah, so tonight basically I'm going to be just chatting on some updates, and then I will share my screen and show you guys the B58 3D model because currently, well, first of all, give me a one in the comments if you're actually seeing and hearing me okay, right? Audio check, making sure that the audio is okay, visuals are okay. I'm not coming across lagging or anything like that. Just give me a one in the comments if it's good. If it's zero, it's no good. I'll just see what I can do. All right. Yeah, we will be looking at the 3D model. So audio is muffled. Testing. So hold on. Let's see. Testing. Yeah, seems to be okay. Is it okay? No, no good. All right. Okay, so Sandy says one, so maybe it's something on your side, David. Who else is not hearing me properly? All right, great. All right, Brian, thanks for joining the stream. Okay, so maybe I'll just grab the mic closer. All right, so yeah, hit that like button, guys. Hit the like button on the video on the stream. And what we're going to be doing today is I'm going to be showing the 3D model on the soft copy for you guys because I've gone through some reiterations of the tooling, or wrong, the model, and the best thing is to show it to you guys versus me, you know, having another 3D out. So yeah, we're gonna be talking about that as well as the MiG 31 and any other things that you guys want to talk about. We will address it. Okay. So let's see. Okay, so I'm going to address this first comment that came in on the top of the hour. So David K says, let's talk about the poorly painted Vipers in Wave 2 and how you have them pre-ordered through the flying mill but will not complete the transaction. Well, David, if you will not complete the transaction, that's already a decision that you've made. Then there's nothing we can do about it. All right, so that's all I can say. It's your choice that to make the purchase. If it's not good, there's no need to purchase it. All right, there's not much to say there. Um, Tyler Gates also mentioned that the gray looks white. As I mentioned, as I've mentioned, if you have somebody else in charge of production, then that's exactly what is an example of what happens when somebody else is in production. As uh, a while back, there were calls to get me out of here, just get this guy out of here, get somebody else to be in charge of Caliber Wings. All right, there you go. I mean, we've tried it, and that's what it is, right? All right, so guys, this is the link because I chanced upon the video by 172nd Airwing on the YouTube, and I've invited him on a live stream together. Well, that was 3 days ago, and apparently, what happened is I actually keyed in my email address to say, "Hey, email me, and we can set up a time for the live stream." But apparently, I was wondering why there was no emails for 3 days and I checked back on the comment, my comment wasn't there. So I thought that I had actually not successfully put that comment in. So I put the comment in again to tell him to email me at the email address. And there was still no emails received. So I went back again. And again, the comment was not there. So I guess I get it. You're not allowed to actually put in an email address as a comment in YouTube. All right. So I said, okay. I said that in that case, just email me. Or I'm actually having a live stream tonight. And if you are available, then I'll put the link there. You can click on the link and just can come online and we can talk about it. Right. So that was what happened there. Okay. Yeah, it's going okay. Taylor, how about you? How's things going on your side? You know, there's, I don't know. I've been in China for the past 2.5 years, and counting. Haven't stepped out. I don't know what's going on. In the Nuremberg shows, in Shizuoka shows, in even in Hong Kong. So I don't know, man. I'm in a bit of a bubble here. So you tell me what's going on, right? Hey, Napoleon. I mentioned you just now. Hello to you. Yep. Good evening, guys. So, okay, let's get right into some models. Oh, audio now is zero? Really? Sandy? You can hear me? Hello? Testing one, two, three. That's kind of strange. All right, so let's just jump right into sharing the screen, and we will talk about the B58. Okay. All right. So that's what you'll see on the screen. Maybe I'll just give you guys the full screen as best as possible. All right. So this is the side view profile of the B58. And again, this project started years back, and of course I'm pretty ashamed that it has taken this long for the model to come to some kind of realization. And you know, as they say, it's easy to point the fingers, right? It's easy for me to say, oh, it's not my fault. It's the guy didn't draw it. The factory didn't draw it. Nobody wants to draw it. So, but that's the truth, right? And if you wanna say, hey, don't point the fingers. You are responsible. You are Caliber Wings. You are responsible for the model. Okay, so let's be responsible. And then too bad, my bad that the model has taken this long. It's all my fault because I couldn't find the right people to draw it. So now finally it's here. All right, so we want to talk about the past, or we want to talk about the future. So this is how it's looking right now. This is MK3 of the 3D model. So the first 3D model, I'm just gonna put myself in there a little bit. There we go. All right. So the first 3D model that we did was very, very rough because there is no model kit to which we can scan or reference or whatever. All right. Um, yeah, we'll get to that in a bit, Dan. Welcome to the stream. We'll get to that in a minute. That was already done and dusted, Sandy. But anyway, so yeah. So the first iteration of the B58, obviously from scratch, because there is no model that we could put together and scan and get a head start, right? Everything here that you see is built from the ground up, right? Everything, right? And including finding data about how the pylons would fit or how it would look like and the kind of ordnance that this bird carries. So apparently it carries more than just what you see here, but we are not able to really go in depth into making. Hey, hi, Rodrigo. Thanks for joining the stream. So yeah, we're not able to really go in depth to what you call it, make all the kind of ordnance. Maybe it could be developed in the future as add-on parts, but I mean the effort to draw this is already so immense that if I were to just have to go in and start searching for the other ordnance and having to find out how it fits, because different bombs have different sizes as from my research and from what you see here, the configuration allows for two bombs on the rack, right? So if this bomb would be much bigger, then again the attachment point, I don't know. There is basically no data that I could find that allows me to tell me the story, right? So I've settled on this ordinance again. I can't recall the names of it right now. If you guys know the names, you can put in the comment section. Um, Oh, so I think there's a problem with the connection, maybe. All right. It could be a connection problem with the Wi-Fi. I'm gonna try to switch the Wi-Fi for just a little bit. Let's see if I can get back on. Oh, okay now. Okay. Yeah, sorry guys, I'm not sure what's happening. Wi-Fi connections. All right. All right, it's fine on your end. That's good. Okay, let's carry on, guys. So if you guys know the name of these bombs, let me know. I had it, but I don't have it. I don't have it in my head right now. Things like R60 or something. I don't know. I don't know. B6. I don't know. B6 or something. B6. Anyway, all right. So there will be these ordnance on the B58, and obviously now I'm gonna just turn it around and show you guys what it is. So you're gonna be getting the bombs, and you can actually display it on the ground with the bomb racks. It's not gonna be like this, right? This is what you see here is again the MK1 of the bomb racks. These are these are too tiny. These are tiny little pieces that you will just lose in a second. So this is gonna be a proper rack with a base and two parts that prongs up to display these bombs when you want to display the model with everything all laid out. Again, you're gonna get so these the one I'm hiding now. These are the what the 3D modeler did as 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 the stands. I don't want those. So changing it to a bigger and more prominent stance. And essentially, what you have here is you have again magnetic attachments, right? We're gonna see. So you're gonna have magnets. These are the placement for the magnets, right? So two magnets here on the pylon, and then two magnets on the bomb itself, right? So that's how it's gonna be. And the pylon itself will be also magnetized to the model. Okay, so there's like magnet points over there as well. All right. So that is so much for the ordnance that comes with the model. And this model, as you can see, those eagle eyed of you guys will see that it's missing something, right? Over here where my cursor is, this is missing the nozzles, right? It's over here, the nozzle is here, but over here the nozzle is missing. So this is not because it's not there, it's because during the interfacing of the 3D model from the software that the people use to this particular PDF that I can show you, sometimes parts get missing. All right. Sounds strange, but it is what it is. All right. There you go. Habada, thanks for that. 1 times Mark 39, 4 times B43. Yeah, I think it's B61. I think I'm using the B61. Right? Mark 39, what is Mark 39? The one is in the center pylon, right? That's the Mark 39, right? All right. There we go. B61. Thanks. Um, yes, magnetic attachment is gonna be the way to go for all future models. So it's kind of set for things like the F-14, where we at present cannot modify our existing tooling to incorporate magnets. It's too much of a work. The work is as good as doing up a new tooling. And the F-14 has still so much to offer. So I'll see how it goes. right? Also it goes. As well as the F-16 doesn't also have the luxury of the magnetic parts. So the F-16 is going to not benefit from magnets, but every other caliber model starting from the MiG-31 is going to be with magnets. And mind you, it's not just simple magnets. It's not the simplest of simple magnets. It's the most premium of magnets. Is the kind that you will be proud of, right? Okay, so getting back to the model, all right. So what we're gonna get interchangeable uh nozzles. Okay. Oh, I just hit that. I thought there was a closed nozzle underneath because normally they would layer the parts together. So if I had closed that, then it would actually show as another part, but they don't have it here at the moment. But rest assured, the B58 will feature open and closed nozzle option parts. So, like the F14, you simply remove the plastic nozzle and attach the one that you desire to display on your model. And speaking of that, again, with all caliber wings models, the engine is always going to be as detailed as it's going to be. Firstly, the fact that the depth of the afterburner rings is exactly the distance that it is on the real aircraft as it is on the model, right? So, by the way, I really hope that the system doesn't crash because it's always tricky to manipulate uh, this 3D model. Either it hangs or crashes my system. All right. Um, so Dan has a comment here. Midway throughout its career, the B-58 was reconfigured to carry 4 Mk-43. Okay, so maybe I will include the development of the Mk-43 along the way, but not for this first release. All right. Um, the Mk-43 thermonuclear weapons on external pylons underneath the wings between the fuselage and the main landing gear base. That's exactly where you saw just now. The two weapons were carried on either side of the fuselage in tandem. The Mk-43 was about 12 feet long. Okay, okay, got that. Thanks, Dan. So getting back to what I was talking about, which is the engine details. So again, you're gonna have that nice detail of the walls. You're gonna have that afterburner ring. Beneath the afterburner ring is the turbine fans. All right. Come to the front. Come to the front. And look at all those details on the rivets. And okay, come to the front. So there is, as you have seen on my other picture, the covers, right? So apparently the covers are not on this model that I'm seeing now, but there is covers. Okay. And fifthly, I mean, as best as we can do it, you know, um, this engine again, I don't have it on hand, but this is the same engine that is used, I think, on the was it the was it the Starfighter or something? Let me know, guys. So yeah, this part you remove it again, you will see the fan blades all there. Okay. So yeah, that is the details of the engines. 4 engines, all right? And these engines will be detached during packaging. The fact that they're on such a small attachment point, having them slotted in during shipping is not as wise as putting them. Uh, there you go. Thanks, Dan. Yep, the F-104, the J79s. That's right, J79s engines are used on the F-104s and the F4 Phantom. So yeah, these engines will be. You got to put it on yourself, right? It will be not. It will not be magnets because these are not exchangeable parts, so there's no need for them to be magnets. Furthermore, magnets doesn't have the most rigid of hole compared to an actual slot joint. So there'll be slot joints for the engines onto the wing. And once you get the model out, you just slot them in yourself snugly, and then that's it. All safe, right? If you were to, hey Jorge, welcome to the stream. If you, if we were to assemble them onto the plane, then we're gonna get complaints about this dropping off. People think that it's broken, stuff like that. All right. So to prevent that, the plane will not include the engines attached. It will be you fix it yourself. All right. A little ask. So I would say, guys, that the B-58 from Caliber Wings is currently in the market the most accurate B-58 that you'll find. You know, and we're still improving it because I'm not satisfied with the front of the model here. All right. The actual B-58 has a much flatter profile on the nose section aft of the windshield. It is a little bit rounded on our example. So this is currently being corrected. All right. The panels of glass on the real aircraft compared to the model extends up higher. So I'm going to fix that because the actual model, the actual plane, the top opening part here is a little bit elevated at an angle. So we're going to put that angle in. And once that angle is in, it will be able to extend this glass pieces to that required length as close to the original. But again, I'm not saying that this is, the most precise model out there, but this is the best at the moment, right? Unless somebody comes along to give us something that looks even better. Hey, Steve, looking good, but I like knowing how the engines will not be attached. Oh, great, that's good. That's one vote. That's good. Thanks, Steve. So yeah, apart from that, everything else is acceptable standards to me. And again, hearkening on some collectors who were sort of mocking the Caliber Wings and mocking myself because I said that in an interview with the Motor Pool that the model will be ready when I say it's ready, right? So when you guys are talking about how some stuff are not good enough, no, if it's not good enough and I say it's good enough, then it's good enough. But it's just not good enough in your opinion, right? So, but enough of that. Again, let's look into the details of the cockpit. All right. So we're gonna remove the hatch there. We're gonna remove that hatch there, and we're gonna remove again. I can't actually move it as in opening because it's not. This is not a program that opens. It's just a PDF that shows all the parts. If it's already in this position, I can only hide it. All right. So what we have here, what we have here is the seats that has the capsules, right? So there you go. It's an actual capsule seat, and if I will, I can't really isolate this, because if I isolate this, then it's gonna be without this part here. So as best as I want to show you the whole thing right now, I can't do it in a presentable way. I'll be screwing up. The moment I isolate this, the whole aircraft is gone, right? And if I need to bring it back, I need to show everything again. And then the moment I isolate this, sorry, if I isolate the bottom part, it's not even selecting. Yes. If I isolate the bottom part, then you only see the bottom part. So it's not really possible for me to do that right now. But as you can see, from here, you're gonna get the three. See, even the little handles over there, the ejection port, right? So we're gonna do our best to put the details on the panels there, right? So all these will be printed on, so there is no uh, profile details. All right, all these will be printed on. So there'll be printed details here and here only. I can't do anything else because it is already very cramped. Um, Again, I mentioned that because the whole fuselage is die cast, this itself, as you can see, this section here, this little section here, am I just, it's not selecting, but this, hold on. Let's see if I can select it again. You see this little section here? So this section is the plastic, how should I say it? Is the plastic that gets inserted into the die-cast metal body. There's no two ways about it. You can't do it any other way. All right. Same with the F-16. Same with the F-14. The whole fuselage is metal, and then the cockpit has to be uh, that way. It has to be another a tub that fits in. So if you're fitting something in, then you're further reducing the size of your current environment, of your current volume. All right. James, thanks for the comment. James, will the B-58 be the biggest model? Um, so far it is. So far it is. But I think I mentioned to Dan before about the C-130. So let's see. We'll get to the tracker in just a bit, Alex. The flat blue portion underneath the four bombs doesn't look quite right. The drag would be prohibitive. What do you mean by that? The flat blue portion, the pylon, right? So again, I don't have details of how the pylon looks. I mean, if you guys have the data, then it's best that you share it with me at sales@caliberwings.com. Otherwise, I'm just proceeding as it is. The flat. So you're talking about this, right? So I'm going to do this isolation now, so you can see that. So we're going to have, I mean, this is based on what I found from pictures of the B-58 in the museum, and that's the pylon, right? It has a angle, two sides. It's angle on the two sides, and this part here. Again, this is magnified so big that you might see certain thing as being too thick or not right, but once it is insane to scale, any thing that you see that you may have seen here is clearly not visible. But that is the generic shape is there. So there's two parts here that that holds the bombs. So I mean, this is pretty much what it is. All right. Underneath the bomb itself, is that what you mean then? Oh, not the pylon. Okay, so what we're talking about here? Yeah, what are we talking about here? I have no idea. Underneath the bomb itself. Oh no, no, no! This is not this rack. You mean this rack, the bomb, this one? No, as I mentioned, this is not gonna be it. All right, this is not gonna be it. We just want to have a rack. Is that what you're talking about, Dan? Let me know. Okay, sure. All right, let's wait for the email then. Let's not waste time here. So as I was sharing on so again, this PDF only shows me this particular piece. There is another piece which you have seen in the what do you call it prototype photos. That there's another unit that is a fuel tank. You can jettison the fuel tank part of it and then remain the other part. So that's what's going to be. And also, all right, and also since you're here, this particular piece will not be sectioned like this in half. I hate that. I hate the center parting line. So it's actually going to be separated using one of the recessed line as the parting, and this is going to just go off one way and the other, front and back. Right? It's going to be a front and back sort of configuration. So there is no parting line like that in the center. Similar for the engines. The engines will not be separated in the center line. It will use one of the panel lines here to separate it as a front and a back. All right. Also, the wing will not separate in the center. It will fold inwards to the bottom so that in this you will never see the edge as a line. All right. And the whole front fuselage is going to be one piece. So mk2 mk2 had the center parting line on the prototype. I mean, we're going to show it. We're going to show the development, right? We're doing stuff. So that was what the engineer thought it was going to be, but no, right? It's not going to be. It's not going to be in the center. This is one. Okay, first of all, don't mind all these lines. These are not the real or final lines, right? There's some so-called error lines. Okay, I think I just lost my camera. Hold on. I'll just yeah, there we go. So hold on. Okay, so do not worry about all these funny lines. It's not the final thing. Some of the lines are there simply because okay, guys, give me a second while I fix my camera because apparently it has a battery issue. So give me just like 1 second. Hold on. maybe once I'm done with the battery. Oh man, otherwise I'm all backed up. Anyway, let's talk about this first. How much will the model cost? I'm currently still working on the cost. We first have to finalize everything with the model to make sure everything that I want is in there, and then we can sort of figure out the. Okay, all right. Okay. So we're going to be disclosing the cost of the model as and when I finalize this, and then hopefully it will be, yeah, we'll get the cost around maybe November. All right. What stand will be used? I don't know yet. I don't know yet. Let's figure things out one by one. Okay, this is everything is done by me. Again, for the people that don't understand, Caliber Wings is not, it's not a hobby master. It's not it's not a corgi. There is no development team. There is no. It's me. All right. So I can only do so much. Hey, Mark. Thanks for joining the stream. This has the potential to be the most blind blowing piece of diecast yet. Thank you. Thank you. Christos. Christos. Let me thank you for the quality of the models. I have a rather strange question, which is there was a company in the same market producing acceptable quality one cent with die cast but disappeared completely. Witty Wings, okay. No, Witty Wings is like a relic from the distant past. So I don't really know anything about that. Whatever that's Witty Wings is all like a distant past. Anyway, let's talk about Caliber Wings. All right. So back to the B-58. The whole fuselage is one piece, as you can see there. The only separation is over here because this part in all B-50s they have seen is always the anti-glare black. So this is always going to be black. All right. So that's why I chose to separate the line here. And if you were to hide this, okay, there you go. You'll see the it is just a mock-up pilot to make sure that we have the seat that actually fits. Apparently doesn't want to hide. Okay, there we go. Okay, so if I can actually hide this, then you will see you'll be able to see that ejection seat that I was talking about. All right, so this will be hidden as well. Right. So yeah, this is I guess the best view. Okay. There we go. Yeah. So that's the little ejection seat over there. Obviously, all these parts are not clear, right? Only the front is clear. And of course, there is also the little windows that is not shown on this particular model. I'm not sure why, but it's there. You see that? It's here. See the little square? See the little square? That will be a piece of plastic, clear plastic, right? Over there and over here as well. I'm not sure why it's not showing. But yeah, there is a little window. You can see on the prototype pictures that we have those pieces incorporated. Um, so there you go. Right? Any questions, guys? Franco, Please comment on the Ghost Rider. Okay, yeah, I'll comment on that. Yeah, maybe I'll do that right now because I'm already done talking about the B-58. I think that's pretty much what it is. Of course, there's the landing gear that's not shown on this particular PDF that I have. Okay, but there is obviously landing gear. Again, the same cartridge type exchanging, right? You change the landing gear via magnets. All right, you remove this and you'll insert the one that has the landing gear. All right, so not this. Don't be confused, right? It's going to be a void here, and then the landing gear cartridge goes in. Similarly for the main gears, I'm actually changing it a little bit so that the entire triangular section here will be removed at the same time, not just like that. Okay, and yeah, okay, so that's B-58. If you guys want to have more questions about it, we can come back to that a little later. In the meantime, we can talk about yeah, your questions. Let me put this in a bit of a nicer. There we go. So okay, so the fact of the matter is that we don't reissue anything, and more so to redo the F-14 Ghost Rider, we won't be able to do it exactly the same because we've already changed factories. The factory that was initially doing the Ghost Rider had its own way of doing the effects, spraying the lighter color. And with the new factory, you cannot expect the same. So there will be differences in terms of paint application, but you can be rest assured it's just going to be better. All right, it's not going to be worse. If it's going to be worse, you can get a full refund. All right, it's going to be better. And again, not to devalue the original Ghost Rider. This time I will have the sculpt where the visor is retracted. Then you can have some flash color on the eyes. All right, that's the difference. Other than that, the difference will be the application of this weathering. It will not be one for one as what you have in hand. Other than that, everything else is the same ordnance, same camera, same amount of weapons, ordnance I just mentioned. And of course, the box will be slightly different. It will not be the same box. I got to come up with a new box art. So that are the differences of the Need for Speed and the Ghost Rider, because the reason why we're doing it is because there's so much demand for it to be done. All right, I can't turn a blind eye when obviously there's people who want it. All right, but initially, on hindsight, initially I wanted to do about 3,000 pieces of the Ghost Rider, but apparently, it seems to be. I mean, before the movie, we couldn't even sell the Iceman and Merlin. All right, those were available, even though those were like only 1,500 pieces each. But in the end, after the movie came out, everything's all cleared out. All right, so it's a good thing that you guys put in the request to have it done, and then I made a decision to make it again. That's it. Crime Sweepers, thanks for joining the stream. Yeah, it's all about works of art, isn't it? And right, and I have another brand called Ramen Toy, and that's actually making toys. And there's a difference between a toy and a model, because with a die cast you can't play with it. There's just no way you can play with a die cast. That revelation came to me because when I was buying Hot Wheels Batmobiles, I love Batmobiles. I got those Hot Wheels Elite Batmobiles, and when I have it in hand, it felt strange because it's metal. As much as I want it to be metal, but because a Batman is more associated with action figures than a skill model, so that part in me wanted to sort of roll, at least just roll it on the table. And when you roll a die cast metal, it just doesn't feel right. You're not supposed to roll it. You just got to put it there, and that's it. So and the moment you actually, okay, die cast, in my opinion, is the moment you just open up the box and feel that thing in your hands. That moment, if it's too light, it's like too light. It's like you go into the fridge for a milk for your cereal, and then you lift up the box, too light, right? You expect it to be, full. Once it's too light, you're not gonna have enough for your cereal. So diecast is the same. Diecast is the moment you open up that box and lift up your model, and if it's too light, then your hopes are all dashed. But if it's just right, or it's, damn, this is heavy, then that's the full effect of the diecast model. And the next would be all the details that you're going to put it there and just appreciate. You're not going to play with it, of course. It's going to be there. You're going to appreciate all the details. So if there's no details, then it's not a diecast model, right? And that's just how we roll. Which livery scheme? Okay, so speaking of that, that's a good question. So the B58, guys, spread the message around. All right, it will be electroplated. All right. When I say electroplate, don't come and then, oh no, it's too shiny. No, 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 no. It's not chrome. It's not that shiny. No, no, no. Electroplating doesn't always mean a chrome shine. You can electroplate a matte finish metal, but the important thing is that the finishing that electroplating gives you will never be achieved by spray painting. For those of you who are into paints, you will know what I mean, but you will see, right? If you spray silver, you will never get the same effect as a plated, especially metallic colors. And this B58 will be plated, and all the various panels that should be a different color, of course, will be a different color. And of course, those different colors will then be spray painted. But first, we have that base. We have that base of reflective metallic color, so that the next coat that goes on, a thin coat, would still be able to have that shine that comes on from underneath. So please share with friends and family and tell them that this is going to be what it's going to be. Um, so yeah, I managed to finally watch the movie the other day on YouTube, of all places, because it's still not showing in China. Okay, Top Gun Maverick is still not showing in China for various reasons. Top Gun Maverick is obviously a American propaganda movie, and it is just not what the Chinese wants to be showing its people to promote American propaganda. Sad to say, but that's the truth, right? So I got to watch it the other day, and my initial thoughts is not going to be a review, of course, just sharing some initial thoughts. Initial thought was kind of cheesy. The fact that Bruce's son also had the same mustache as Bruce, okay, was kind of cheesy, and trying to have the whole reunion thing is kind of cheesy. But once we got the cheesy out of the way, then it was kind of epic. The fact that, you know it was basically trying to teach some maneuvers and some real life obstacles of fighter pilots and all these things. So I thought, yeah, it was pretty encouraging. But no, I'm not yet doing any uh, I think that it's not that appealing, that design. I don't know. And it wouldn't have Maverick and whatever on the name. The pilot name would not be, it's gonna be some funny pilot. I don't know. So for all that involved, I don't think it's one of those straight out iconic pieces. But who knows? All right. So the part about more weapon packs is, again, now that I got the factory that I can work with, that will not do funny shit, then I can start to concentrate on doing the stuff. All right. As I mentioned before, the goal is to have all the weapon systems as magnets, and every single weapon must be universal. There's no reason for it not to be. And again, for my lack of management, I allowed the sidewinder on the F-14 to be different from the sidewinder on the F-16, and that shouldn't be the case. It should be exactly the same, all right? But as you are designing models, the smaller things like sidewinders, you just sort of like think that it should just work by itself. But no, the guy that draws the sidewinder for the F-16 drew it in a different way as the guy who drew the sidewinder for the F-14, and then it's different. And when it's different, it's wrong because sidewinders are all the same. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to have a universal size, right? It's going to be correct, 172, but it's going to be universal. It's going to have the universal attachment points, magnetic form, and every next model that has a pylon that fits a sidewinder will be able to fit a sidewinder. And it won't be so fast, but that's the plan. Okay, so that's the answer to your question. Okay, so I answered that one. So Mark, all right, get what you mean. No, not that. Yes, there is no estimated price yet. I can only know for sure once I confirm the final dissection of the model, because manufacturing cost comes with how a model is built, literally built. Whether the wings are one piece, whether the wings are separated into two pieces, or the wings are further separated into four pieces, whether the fuselage is one piece, two piece, you know, it then means how many tooling is going to be for the amount of pieces. So we can't just say that, oh, it's just roughly going to be this price. No, we got to make sure, we got to be goddamn sure that the way we want it to be and how we want it to be, electroplating. You don't just do a die cast tooling and then, okay, you can electroplate it. No, you can't. You need, you need you need to have certain holding points to dip the part into the electroplating process. And if your mold is not designed for that bracket or that jig itself, then you already entered into a misstep, because now that you got your mold, oh, let's electroplate, but I can't electroplate something where I can't hold it. So everything has to be considered. So we can't know the price just yet. All right. Hey, Close Combat 27. That's a new name I've not seen before. Welcome. All right. That's good. Yeah, I mean, no doubt it's a good movie, but yeah. Anyway, we're talking about models here, and the next, again, let me still make sure that the link is visible in case the 172nd Airborne is around, and I invited him to come online to talk about stuff. So B58, we're currently in. Let's say September is done. We're currently in October. There's going to be a Golden Week holidays in China, and then we'll get back. Let's finish the B58 by end of October so that we can do the costing come November, and then depending on the situation, we will either just go ahead and tool, or we will still do the same as MiG-31 and put up a early bird pre-order. But by doing that, there's going to be certain discrepancies, because again, we can't do with a 3D printed prototype what we can do with the actual metal. So that's the reason why my MiG-31 prototype was only done halfway, and I put up the model for pre-order because I couldn't carry on, because I don't have the parts. I couldn't show the exchanging of landing gear because the 3D printed landing gear is shit. All right. I could only show the magnetic attachment of the various weapon systems and show how the weathering effects is going to be. I didn't even show, any printed markings, because we couldn't do stuff. I couldn't, and there's no point for me to put, I mean, I gotta be honest with you. I had in my hands a 1/2 scale decal sheet from, I think, Hasegawa or something. I was gonna put those on manually just to mock up something that looks better, but to me, there's no point, because that's not the idea. The idea is that the standards of our stenciling, of our pad print, that what you don't know is how the MiG-31 is going to look with the weathering paint. So I've showed that. Okay, so with that in mind, I put out the early bird pre-orders, and the early bird pre-orders is over now. Okay, so if you were to buy the MiG-31, is $250. Okay, so very much appreciated all the people who trusted and then put money down for the early bird. It really helped to get the tooling started, and the tooling is started. Right? If I've not announced it yet, the tooling is started. I think I did announce it actually. Yeah, the tooling is started for the MiG-31. So for those skeptics out there who say, "Oh, who knows if it's gonna be fun? Who knows if it's gonna take the money and then it's gonna, do the stuff?" Again, we have a history that would would warrant such concern. SU-20, Fitter, SU-17, not done. S2 Tracker, not done. U2, not done. So yeah, there is definitely concern for this, but once you understand the whole caliber wings, then you'll know that there's no need to worry when I say it's going to be done, right? As I mentioned before, I don't want to beat a dead horse to death. The SU-17 fitter tooling is no longer in my possession. All right, it's with JC Wings, and then they will figure it out, because the tooling was done by the factory of JC Wings. All right, under my supervision. So it would have been nice. They were almost there, but for some reason they refused to carry on to change or make the changes that I require, because what they have is a typical good. It's good enough for most other brands, but we're not about good enough, as I mentioned. Okay, you can see what good enough is with Wave 2 of the Vipers. It's good enough. Aside a few of the more critical collectors, I've not heard any other complaints about the Wave 2. And that goes to show you that good enough sells. All right, good enough sells, because you guys have been buying good enough for so many years. Before Caliber Wings, you guys were buying good enough. Okay, so Anyway, let's not go there. Yeah, so the filter is not my concern anymore because I wanted it to be a certain way, but if they're not going to be doing it, I'm not going to accept that tool to make a product. Bottom line, all right. So there's no point to carry on. And then since it's value, there's still value in that. Then if they can finish it up on their terms and then they will release it, then so I mean, it's another model on the market for you guys the moment they get it out, right? And with the recent prowler, they are improving. So hopefully that the fitter that they put out will be as good as the prowler, right? So don't lose heart. People can still improve, all right? So people are improving. um you should take heart that it's going to be good enough. All right, so on the tracker, um the tracker, wait a minute. Why am I still having this thing on? There we go. There we go. All right, so the tracker, again, what happened is the tracker was sitting on its backside because it has to be die cast, right? Again, many critics were saying, "Oh, look at the tracker when I showed the parts. Look at how much plastic there is." Again, they have no idea, right? They have no idea what they're talking about. And the simple way of doing the tracker not to sit on its backside is to just put plastic on the back instead of metal. Simple way, simple solution. Why bother yourself? Why stress yourself? Just change the plastic. So if that were to be plastic, the only parts of the tracker that's metal is going to be the front fuselage and the top of the wings. That's it. That's the only thing that's going to be metal on this tracker. The front fuselage and the top of the wings. Because the wings needs to be separated into two parts. So you can't have metal and metal. You got to have metal and plastic. Because metal and metal can't glue. That's why you have screws. And you don't want a screw sticking out on the underside of the wing, right? Neither do you want a screw plus a cap. And also, the wings are so thin. What kind of screws are we talking about that is so small that the screw head is so small that we can still do it? You can't, right? You can't. You have to go through all the analysis of how to do it, and then you come up with the solution. So the solution was metal and plastic glue. Okay. So if the back is not metal, then as I just mentioned, the tractor is going to have only that amount of metal, and that's not good enough, right? So I insist that the back is metal because you want to hold the tracker by by the vertical stabilizer. All right. Already the horizontal ones are plastic. Already, I can tell you upfront, right? Initially, we try to remove some weight, but it's redundant. Those things, those little things, is redundant compared to the whole solid. Well, it's not really solid. They actually hollowed out most of the inside of the metal, but even by hollowing out the material, is still too heavy. The fact that whole outer shell of the whole back plus the tail is just too heavy. And what you want is to hold the tracker by the tail. There's no other way to hold the tracker. And if you hold the tracker by the tail, and if the tail is plastic, you're gonna have that. You're gonna have that sensation that, oh, this is it's not good. All right. So the previous factory that again did the shit work couldn't fix it. They didn't have any ideas. And even if they had some idea and said that they would do all these extra things, they didn't do it. All right. So I have it in my hands now and we're doing it. We're changing it. So one thing that was changed in hope to get this to level up is that now it will not have any option parts of the bomb bay, weapons bay. So initially, the tracker, as seen in some of the photographs before, had a option where you can have the weapons bay closed, and then you remove it and you put another one, weapons bay open. Hopefully, a torpedo would be there. Now, the whole weapons bay means you hollow out. You are hollowing out an essential part where weight should be to stabilize the model. So now we're going to totally seal up this entire weapons bay. It's going to be metal, ballast, and I will feedback once I see the corrections to see if it stands. And it should, right? Because I think the math we've concluded, right, that the whole hollow section was where there was no weight. All right. BAC TSR2. What is that? TSR2. U2. All right. So that is tracker. All right. So the moment I get the revision, we will then start to show the fact that it's going to be good. Maybe in November, right? And let's see if we can rush something out by December, the first wave, or at least one of the first wave. Okay, so that's tracker. In regards to the F-14 checkmates, it's currently in production. Again, this is the new factory that's doing it, so they need time to adapt to how to make a model. All right. So right now we basically have two factories. One that's handling the S-24s, and one that's going to be doing my F-14s and 16s and MiG-31 and basically everything, because this factory is the one that's going to be focused to doing the quality stuff. The other factory that does the S-24, I don't think they can carry on because first of all, it is because of them that we have to also call the upcoming Su-24s as ramen model. All right, because they were afraid. They were afraid that if the models are labeled caliber wings, which I don't have the rights to, then the person that have the rights of caliber wings would come to that factory and say, "Hey, you are doing counterfeit. I'm going to sue you," because the factory itself has encountered some problems with the law in exactly the same method. They undertook some tooling that they thought they were just buying off some tooling. And then when they produced said tooling, the authorities came after them and said, this is licensed stuff that you don't have the license for. And they went through some very severe the boss obviously went through some severe punishment, and therefore he's very cautious, especially when I don't have the rights to caliber wings and I'm calling it caliber wings. So he's very afraid that the authorities would come to his factory, and he doesn't want a repeat of what just happened to him before. So okay, I oblige, and I'm going to call it ramen model for him. But for caliber wings coming out from my factory, it's going to be caliber wings. All right. So this is the little bit of situation that you guys have to juggle. All right. The whole mystery of this ramen model thing would be temporary. It'll be temporary. It's not going to be permanent because, like I said, I'm not afraid to challenge the guy who claims he has caliber wings, right? Because I am caliber wings, not the guy. All right. So Yeah, so there's just gonna be a bit of confusion there, but it should iron itself out. The dust will all settle, and you'll see clearly in 2023. That I can tell you. Jonathan, sure. How about just using the tail stand on the tracker and crack on the original plan? What? What about just using the tail stand on the tracker? What is the tail stand on the tracker? I have no idea. Do you guys know what it means? Hey Tarkan, welcome to the stream. No, there's always possibilities, but let me finish what I want to do first with the F-16 before I consider any other uh, suggestions. We've had this on the Facebook as well, where people are asking for different things. Let me finish what I need to finish first, then we can look at the other stuff. All right, there's always possibilities. Okay, right. Thanks. So since you're on Tarkan, let me just elaborate. Right. So the factory that's doing the Su-24 is not a professional aircraft fact. They do cars. They do die-cast cars. Right. Um, so I gave them a try because at that point of time I was having problems with the factory that I just fired. Okay, there was nobody doing caliber models, right? So I had to find somebody else, and the one I that I found that I'm talking to you about needs time to adapt because they themselves are also not die-cast manufacturers. They are doing me a favor because they are doing my ramen toy to get the workforce in into caliber wings. You see what I'm saying? All right. Um, so it is a unique situation, and having gone through the trials and tribulations of factories in China, I have to really now only trust the people I trust. So the first F-14 that came out, the maiden F-14, was from a well, they were pretty okay until the point where they delayed my models and there was no F-14s for a long time. I showed the prototype of the painted sample of the Top Gun Raid 31 for a good long time because it was done by them, but they finally didn't do the production because they didn't do it. I had to bring that production elsewhere. And that model also is not something that I'm proud of because it's also done for the first time by that new factory, another new factory. Okay, so it didn't turn out good. So again, the first factory, they did okay apart from the foul marks on the very first model. Okay, because they didn't know that it was not supposed to file. They did a pretty okay wave two, isn't it? The wave two was pretty okay, and then they did a wave three, which then they decided to sell themselves because I rejected all the rest. That wasn't good. Why? Because now they had foul marks on the nose. Okay, so if you were to let me just ban this spam. Okay. Oh, is the sound very bad again? That's right, Dan. So let me know if you can hear me now. I'm not sure what's going on, but yeah. So just give you a bit of a history lesson in terms of the factory situation. So, as I was saying, the The first factory was done. The second factory was done because that was the factory that was doing the JC stuff. And then came the third factory, the factory that was so enthusiastic to do Elbow Wings, and it turned out so many F-14s that you guys probably know, right? In 2020, it turned out so many F-14s and one F-16, okay? One F-16, in which I told them that you have to adjust the tooling because the tooling is not right. Apparently, I think they had issues to revise the tooling and dragged on Wave 2 for a good year and a half. Um, it's cutting in and out. I don't know, man. Everything's is normal as it was. Anyway, if the sound is not so good, then I think we'll cut the stream for now. We will draw on the other topics when we can get the audio. We can get the audio sorted out next time. I think there's something wrong maybe with the connection. Okay, so basically, in summary, in summary, okay, tonight was just an update on the well, basically it was also a opportunity to see if I can get online with 172nd Air Wing to talk about the Wave 2s. But the Wave 2, there's nothing to talk about actually. It's as simple as I wasn't involved, right? I was obviously involved in the initial stage of the artwork, right? The Now I'm being heard. Okay. Okay. Of course, I was involved with Wave 2 artwork, box art, everything, color selection. But like I mentioned before, what you select on a color and what the factory replicates is a different thing. You need to be on hand to tell them and see what they have done and say, oh, this is too dark or too light, and then adjust it, and then we will use what you adjusted to my approval, and we will do it. Okay, it's not about giving this color that I've provided via a Pantone chip or via a color chip which I've spray painted myself. It doesn't mean that by giving them this, I can just sit back and relax. No, because come on, you need to match what you just seen. You need to match it. Whether you match it exactly or match it wrongly is well, surely you can't match it exactly, right? There's always going to be a discrepancy. Colors are such an enigma that you will never match the same color. Never. Never ever. Okay? So the fact is that they didn't allow me to go on site to check the colors. They just said, just give us the colors and we'll do it. And it's being managed by somebody else. That's it. And there you go. Even the stupid thin white, lighter gray on the wingtip is wrong. It's not supposed to be there, right? That's why we do samples. We do samples so that I can see a sample and tell you what's wrong, and you can correct it for the final production. Now, what happened with that thin white on the wingtip as I relook at my drawing is that I didn't see myself because the person drawing the artwork for me left out that white part, left out that white part to be gray on a white background. So with the naked eye, you wouldn't go and spot a thin strip on the drawing to say, hey, this should be gray, not white, because you wouldn't know that to tell someone to color the wing that they will leave out coloring that particular one strip plus a back, a white background. Then you won't see it out. It's invisible. It's camouflage. All right, but you can see it once the factory follows your artwork, my artwork to the T, and then they will see this, and then they'll paint it white, and then I will see the sample and say, hey, this is not white, and that's it. They'll correct it. But because no sample was done for the wave two, right? Since when did you see me taking pictures of sample? None. All right, they just went straight to production. So if you do that, that's why you have problems. Okay. So on that note, I think that's enough. We will call it a night for today. Thank you so much for joining the stream. Appreciate it. As usual, hopefully tonight you learn something new, you learn something more, and you'll be able to appreciate caliber wings more. And again, like the video, share, tell your friends about it, and then we will see you guys next time with more updates on the B58, the Foxhound, and much more F16 as well. All right, guys, thanks a lot for joining me. Have a great one. Take care. I'll see you guys soon.